Good morning, good morning, good morning to my wonderful listeners and viewers. It is that time of the morning where we jump over to YouTube and have a very healthy discussion on various things. And today we've had a little switcheroo with Wednesday and Thursday. Normally we would have Mr. Douglas on a Wednesday, but for the next rest of the year, we're going to be having him on a Thursday, right? So he's closing the week for us. Okay, so we're going to be talking this morning with Mr. Douglas. Let me invite Mr. Douglas. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Minister Renee.
It is good to see you. I trust you had a wonderful weekend.
I had I had an awesome weekend.
Great. And we are ready and raring. You're listening to the Optimal You, the YouTube segment, and I trust that you will jump on here and have this discussion with us. Now, as we know that some person started from October, we are into that quote unquote festive season. We're heading into Christmas. It's my favorite time. I say. So we're heading into Christmas and we want to talk about some very important things as Christians. We want to talk about not overspending. We want to talk about not doing what we don't need to do. So, because of that, we are seeking financial counsel. And so, we have Mr. Douglas who's going to talk to us today about setting a Christmas budget. So, Mr. Douglas, for the benefit of those who don't know who you are, can you please reintroduce yourself and let us know who you are?
All right, good morning again, everyone. For the persons who, as Minister said, may not know who I am, my name is Marvin Douglas. I'm agency manager at Marathon Insurance Brokers. I am your friendly, faithful financial advisor who is here to share with you on a weekly basis. I am a member of the or a family member from the Liberty for Living Ministries International. We're at the Trade Center on Red Hills Road, and I can't go without saying I am the husband of one beautiful wife, Khalifa, and two awesome children. All right, so again, we're just here to share as we seek to build the kingdom of God.
Yes, and to get to a place of financial wellness so we can give the Lord our best. So we're jumping right into it. So, Mr. Douglas,
Hmm.
we're talking about this wonderful time of the year when families come together and we all celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ as Christians. And some of us go all out and some of us are restricted. But I want to ask a very important question because you see, me, even last night I sat down, and I'm writing down what I need to do. And it's not because it's Christmas why I'm doing it, but most time we do those things at the end of the year anyway. So I'm jotting down what I need to do because I'm planning to make a budget. So I'm very excited about today, right? Very. So why is it important to set a budget specifically for Christmas spending with all the gifts and all these things?
All right, so like yourself, Christmas is really my favorite time of the year. We can argue that October is the best month, but Christmas is my favorite time.
No, sorry.
Uh,
Let that be April. Continue, please.
all right, all right. Um, so I would want to start by saying, let us all remember the reason for the season. Too much of anything is not good. All right, we don't overdo things. Right? We try to do things, especially things like spending, in moderation and within reason. And it is important to specifically budget or to set a budget specifically for Christmas spending because for the most part, holiday spending can add up real quickly. And this can be the case due to the many extra costs, like the extra gifts that we're going to be purchasing. We do decorations, people paint over the house, people give it spruce it up, as we say in Jamaican parlance. There is extra food that is being bought, and and stuff. Not necessarily for you alone, because we're always hosting. It's a time for family. It's a time
True.
for gathering. So you may be doing a little extra cooking here and there.
Mm.
There, for the persons who are not cooking, they may be traveling because they may be the ones going to family. So there's the extra spending there, and then there is entertainment. Entertainment, as I say, can be just the hosting of people, or going to host people, having a good time in with family. I am just going to insert that as um, kingdom citizens, I am encouraging persons when they do the when they do the budget for Christmas, put in a little extra thing to support the people who may be in need.
That is
Always, and that's just for me personally. Always just put a little thing extra so you can extend to someone who may not be in the same place or as fortunate as we are at this point. Give them something to be cheerful about in the season of giving. All right. So as you know, the budget helps us to keep our spending in check, because it is important that we budget, because we want to prevent debt. We don't
mm,
want to incur additional debts because
right.
of the extra spending that we didn't account for. And you want it to align with your holiday plans and your financial priorities. So not because it is Christmas mean that, boy, after the holiday you must be like this and plan ahead, because you don't know what you're going to be doing next.
But,
So
let me ask, Mr.
mhm.
Mr. Douglas, while we have to make the budget, are there some factors that we need to take into account as we think about making this budget? Because while what you're saying, all you're saying is the truth, because
Mhm.
people coming to stay at your house, your light bill going up, your water bill, everything is increasing,
Mhm.
right? And it's not everybody get a little bonus. So I'm saying those. So what are some things that we have to consider when we're thinking about putting together a budget?
All right, you must consider and increase anticipated expenses, which are usually higher. We spoke about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're factoring the anticipated expenses, increased expenses, that will be accounted for from the gifts, because everybody wants to be the favorite auntie and the favorite uncle. So all of the kids must get things, you know.
That.
Regardless of what it is, yes, man, the kids must enjoy the holidays. So then get extra gifts and stuff. So you have to consider these things. You have to consider the extra meal spending. As I said, the extra decor and all of these things. Now, other considerations include your overall financial goals. How do I stay? Remember, we would have already set some financial goals, things where we want to reach, right? So you can't just do your budget, and you can't just be doing the spending in isolation and not considering how does this fit in my overall goals, because you still have your expenses, or your budgets that you need to stay aligned with your what we call your expense budget, to ensure that if something were to happen, you and the family covered the expected, the unexpected or the expected income that should come, and any upcoming expenses that may impact your overall spending must be consideration when you're making these budgets. So the budget we know, say, all right, with the budget was $100,000 for the month prior to this month.
Mm.
So we know, say, December the budget may double. Just for December, the budget may double. Not for everybody, some of us are way more prudent than others. But we say the budget may double. So what does that mean? In your budgeting, I can say start budget for the holidays from January.
From January?
Yes, man. It's something that I'm telling persons to do. So I said, when you're doing your budgeting, put line items for different things. Home expenses, vacation, because the family have to go out, and holiday spending. So it means then that if you know that you usually spend $100 on a monthly basis, but December, based on the increased expenses, December's budget may be 150, for argument's sake. What you do from January, or if you want to do it 6 months out based on how your earnings are, you say, all right, as a line item in my budget, I will put in an extra savings of $15 here or $10 here, so that come December, even if you don't get that expected bonus, you are still able to be merry.
So, Mr. Douglas, Mr.
Mhm.
Douglas. So, so if we just start to budget now, we're late. If we're just starting to budget for for the Christmas spending, are we late?
You may be late depending on how your earnings are, but you can still it can still work. So that is one of the reasons why we budget. So now, if we didn't start budgeting before, and we may or may not be anticipating a bonus for the holiday, but let us say there's no bonus forthcoming, but you will have to spend a little bit more. Remember, you know, that is one of the reasons why from early out we did start budgeting. Remember, we started with
Mhm.
budgeting and
Right?
everybody started setting aside a little bit of money that we're going to use for contingencies. You can
Yeah.
call it miscellaneous if you will, right? You don't want to expend all of that, but you may want to say, all right, you know something? Um, me now go Me not go paint inside and outside the entire house, because really and truly, inside and outside, I really need painting. I just a little touch up me need here and there.
But I didn't paint last year and the year
Well, if
before.
you did the paint last year, no, that becomes priority. Yes. So as I said, it may differ between persons. So now everybody is going to know, be looking at what, remember we just mentioned earlier about priorities, setting
Hmm.
things that are priority, and you're working from the top there. Good. But then there are some things that you will do. Because as I said, because we are competing for favorite uncle, the favorite uncle title, I have to ensure that if the adults them not really find Christmas so festive, the kids then will have to find Christmas festive. So
Mm.
the kids become priority. So their gifts become at the top of my list. So if my brothers don't get anything, their children certainly will get something.
So,
Just say
and that is a determinant for us to think about our realistic,
yes.
we can
So,
realistically afford
so,
some of
so
the
you
things.
don't want to overspend, as I say, and then go rack up the credit card because you look at it and you say, but me can even though me not have the cash in hand,
Yeah.
can put something on the card, and then you don't know how that is going to pay, and then it puts you in a in a tailspin, and you know incur some debts that you can't really deal with so easily. So I'm saying create the budget and then you revise the budget and stick within your means. Stick within your means. If it is that you can only afford $100, figure out a way to make it work.
Ooh, Jesus.
You understand? Um, like I said to like I was talking to my wife, and we said, "Boy, you know, something we need is living room set change." You know, and when I was looking at the budget, I started. It just became clear to me that one of those, sofa cleaners, the people who clean sofas with them steam cleaners and something, it just seemed very clear to me that guess what? At them in the budget, you know, another new set jet. So
Listen,
we just have to get it clean this year and go and work with it until next year.
and there
It's
is something that
called
you can spray on it and clean yourself, which is my plan. I'm just
exactly. It is called delayed gratification. So you delay the gratification, and because you have set priorities.
mm-hmm.
So let us just live within our means.
And it's important to try and find the cheaper way. And when I say cheaper, I'm not saying you must settle for less quality, but if you can get the close enough quality, may not be 100, but you can get 80. I'm just saying, sometimes you have to resort to getting the cheaper thing, rather than putting yourself out or just pass it up for this year and Say, all right, next year we can probably look at that, because even as you talk about the chair cleaning, my chair is one of those solid chair. I've had my chair for years, solid, good
Yes.
chair, and I don't plan. I was thinking, oh, I probably need to change the chair, but I don't need to change my chair because the quality of the chairs that I see now can be compared. You might be able to rewrap it or something. I'm not changing my chair. So I think about now, what can I do? I'm going to clean it. And I know that I have found out that my nephew has something that they use to put on it, and then you do it yourself. My husband has a hand vacuum. Hello? I have a plan because I'm not spending any money. And it's not
And
because it's Christmas. The chair.
and I tell you, that plan that you have, it's called budgeting.
because because I'm starting my Christmas budgeting late.
Yes.
That's my truth.
It's a
Late.
part of your budget. And
So
that is what we need to do.
what is this? Listen, a person's listening and viewing right here. You're listening to the Optimal You right here on HGG Radio, and we are on YouTube, the YouTube segment, and we're talking to Mr. Marvin Douglas of Marathon Insurance. We're talking about the matter of budgeting for Christmas. So I want you to chime in. I want you to jump on our WhatsApp at 825-343-4486, or jump onto the YouTube here and give us your feedback. What do you think about the whole idea of budgeting for Christmas? And if you're late with your budgeting, you need to come on here and talk and hear what Mr. Douglas has to say, because we have to find some way to work around it. We have to work around it. Mr. Douglas, so we looked at the fact that you have to budget specifically for Christmas. One, we looked at the fact that you have to consider the different things to consider when you're thinking about holiday budgeting, and we kind of skimmed over how can you think about a realistic way rather to afford your Christmas spending. Now I want to ask you a question. And I'm going to read my question. How can past holiday spending habits inform your budget for the current year? Like, for example, for 2024. How can last year and the year before, the way we spend or the way we handle our budget informed inform this one?
All right. We always say looking back gives you a clear picture of to make a plan for looking forward. So, because we know that, okay, last year, something, when I look back at last year and the year before and the year before, I recognize that I spent 2 10 years or 2 10 years, 2 20 years or 2 30 years or 2 30 years. Is exactly about 250.
Oh, can you repeat that, Mr. Oh, you're freezing up. Can you, you're gonna, ooh, we lost you there. We're not getting.
All right. So
Oh,
there,
so
there,
you have to
there's
repeat for me the 220 and the two, because you froze up.
okay, cool. So sorry about that. There seemed to have been a little technical glitch just now. Technology. I was saying, what we're doing, we're going to be looking back at the last, say, let us say 3 years on average, and
Mhm.
we say on average we spend, because we spend 210 1 year, 220 another year, or 230 or so like that another year. So we do the average. So we know that the average spending for the season, for the holidays, is about 250.
Mhm.
All right. So that gives us now a base, or gives us a basis on which we're going to plan. So then
Right.
we're going to be looking at, all right, is there something that I did last year or I've been doing in previous years that would have brought the budget to where it is that we don't necessarily need to do?
Mhm.
Is there something that we can use to substitute some things that we did?
Yes.
Similar to what you and I would have discussed. We may have been thinking about changing the sofa, but
Right.
then we recognize that, okay, something, if I were to be a little bit more prudent, I could clean it. And then I realized that my settee look, make my sofa look for a fraction of what I would have spent. So we review your previous year spending. That will, as I said, provide some kind of insight into how the money was spent and where it was spent, you may recognize that some excessive spending was done in a particular area. So you can then adjust your budget. And
Somebody
you
in the
can
chat
do
is
this.
saying, somebody in the chat, Mr. Douglas is saying that I think we can reuse things from last year to cut back on our budget.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So as I said, so thank you for that. So like I was looking at I was looking at my bookshelf last night. God is so good. I was looking at my bookshelf last night and I said I'm going to get rid of some of these books, clean up my bookshelf and sort it out.
Yeah.
Just as a side, I did a Bible study on Monday, and the Bible study was about Bible study, right? How do we study? And I just by cleaning up, I found a concordance that I've had for about 20 years that I really have never used. So my mother knew that I was going to do it, and God was faithful. He waited on me for 2 decades to start using this book, and I kept it. You recognize that you may have some stuff that you can reuse, some stuff that you don't have to continuously do spending on, and that is how you review your budget, right?
Hmm.
As the listener said in the chat, there are some things that you don't have to do over.
Right.
Okay? As I said, for me, priority becomes the kids. So like my brothers, they will come. If they come, I will say, all right, there's an extra tall glass of a lemonade in the fridge for you. But then there that nice package on the over there is for the baby.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And he will understand
Hmm.
because it is more about the camaraderie and the together and just being there. So he leaves feeling good, and the kids leaves feeling elated because uncle gave them stuff, and
Right.
then I retain the title of best uncle for at least for the next year.
But you know what happened too? On Tuesday, we had a discussion right
Mhm.
here in the YouTube segment about decorating for Christmas.
Yes.
And one of the ladies, I think is Anna K. Campbell Burton Campbell, said you can reuse some things from the previous
Reuse them.
bring them back into focus. And she was even suggesting that if you say you use green and yellow, green and red last year, then this year you can use the red if you don't want to use but both, and then just get a few other things. And Mrs. Shepherd was agreeing and saying, "Yeah, you reuse your stuff because you're thinking about your budget." And so you can have it, well, not all, but you can have a lot of the excitement in a budget within your budget. But
So
Mr. Douglas, there are some common mistakes we make when we are doing budgeting, especially for the holiday season. What do I don't know if you can identify two or one, and then tell us how can we avoid these kind of mistakes because
all
we
right.
want to get the thing right.
The first one is not making a budget.
This man is something else, you know. Okay,
So
all right.
the first common mistake is not making a budget. And because we didn't make a budget, there tends to be quite a bit of impulse buying or impulse spending. There's quite a bit of excessive using of the credit cards. And
Mm,
then there is a forgotten hidden fees that comes along with some of these things. So to avoid some of these things, that is the main thing we're talking about, right? We're going to prepare the budget and we're going to stick to it. We are going to plan for every expense item that may come up, right? And we're going to be using cash or prepaid card to avoid overspending.
hmm.
Leave the credit cards at home unless you are one of those disciplined persons who say, all right, you know something, I am going to allocate $10,000. I'm going to use the credit card, but then as soon as I reach home, I transfer back that to the credit card.
But Mr. Douglas, sometimes you do online shopping, man.
Yes, man. You can do online shopping with your prepaid card just the same, or you can. And as I said, if you even use the credit card, it must be based on the budget. So you know that all right, I have in the budget ten
Yeah.
thousand dollars for gifts. Start earlier
Yeah.
where
Seeding
you
that.
can go through more things and you can find options,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can find options.
Let me
Uh,
ask the listeners a moment. Listeners, how many of you actually do budget? How many of you actually do a Christmas budget or a holiday budget? How many of you really do that? I want to hear in the chat or on our WhatsApp group 825 4 let me go again 825 343 4486. I want to know if you are one of those persons who actually do a budget for the Christmas period. But Mr. Douglas, earlier you
yes.
said you and your wife you were talking about the budget and talking about what you want to do for the Christmas period. I want to ask you a question now.
Yes.
And you have two lovely children. I don't know their age group. But can you involve the family in the budgeting, the children into the budgeting? And if that's the case, can we help them to understand the situation, what's going on in the world, and how to manage money?
One of the biggest issues that we have now is because parents don't teach children money management.
Mm,
My children, they are 15 and 18 respectively, right? Daughter is 15, my son is 18. So they understand exactly what does that mean. It is very important that when you do your holiday, you, as a matter of fact, you want to include them in the budget period, but holiday specifically. What it does, it teaches them money management and it teaches them responsibility and it
mm,
manages the expectations because sometimes the kids just believe that look here, they must get everything within desire, everything that their heart desires, and
mm.
they don't understand the implications. So they see it's a children, they are just little or smaller people. So he
All right, we heard when you said smaller people and then we lost you. So can you repeat
yeah
that part?
man, I'm saying so this is the advice. You're going to call a family meeting. Just like how you call a budgeting meeting at the office, you call a budgeting meeting. Like when school is going to start again in September, I have the conversation with my kids. All right. Last year lunch money was X. Inflation is actually Y. So I'm expecting that everything is going to be increased by 5% or so this year.
Mhm.
If so, an increase in 5% in terms of the lunch money is Y. So all right. So I want to make sure so you're going to save a little thing out of it. So this is what we're going to do. Um, you usually buy X, Y, and Z. Lunch used to be this. This is what lunch is going to be now. All
Mhm.
right. So let us work things out. And they themselves come up and say, all right, something, no man, I think this can work, or why not do that? Bring them into the conversation.
Yes.
They will become much more financially responsible because they would have been taught it. Just like how you teach them how to be mannerable, just like how you teach them how to do their chores, how to tidy up around the house, how to cook and how to clean and
Mhm.
whatever it is, you have to teach them money management because a lot of us are failing because we were never taught this. All right.
Mhm. Somebody in the chat says, I don't never have enough, so I only spend on food. Also, she don't enough what money?
Enough money. So the money is tight, man. The money is tight all around. So specifically for the holiday now, I am saying get the kids involved. Call a
Yeah.
little family meeting and say, all right, guys, listen, I want everybody to enjoy Christmas, right? But look
Hmm.
here, the money not unlimited. This is what we have, and these are some of the things that we have to take care of. So we may have to prioritize. What say you? What do you think we should be doing now? Or
Yeah.
what do you think from this list are the things that must be done? So we're going to take care of it. So if we have to leave off anything, what can we leave off? All right. They will you'll be surprised as to how much they will understand and how much they would want to be a part of the solution.
Mm-hmm.
They now feel as if, all right, what happens in the home or what is happening here, I feel so much a part of it. And
Yeah.
they themselves will tell you, all right, no man, daddy, no. Look here, my wall, all me need to do is just wipe off the wall. The wall good. My room not have to paint this year. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they are the ones who will help you. But it is important. It is a lesson that we must teach. It's a valuable lesson, and it is going to be lifelong.
And
Their
then when they
experience.
learn that too, when they learn that they are about the finances and so on, it is less pressure on you mentally. Yesterday we spoke about the mental stresses of the holidays. It is even better on your mental state because they will understand. Don't come and ask me about this and that because you understand where we are financially. So that is not in the budget. So that's not gonna work. So it's even better for you.
Yes. And this is something to do. You want to track your holiday spending. You want to get them involved. Um, create a Google sheet. You keep the master sheet, and then everybody can update the sheet.
Because I was gonna ask you about that next. How is if there are any apps or any tools that we can use to track our holiday spending apart from
Yes.
just writing it down?
So there are some apps. Google some of them. I know you have like the YNAB. You need a budget. There's I think Mint, or there's one that's called Every Dollar. Um, those are some apps that are there. But as I say, I like Excel, and I like the Google Sheet. It's very easy, and as I said, you can create a Google Sheet, and you can have everybody being able to update it and stuff.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
daughter will put in, and my daughter sees what my son will put in, and then we can have the conversation. And then now they become the ones who are saying to them, saying to each other, say, hold on, wait. Oh, don't you think we're kind of overdoing this year? Let us pull back with this one because we ensure that we're staying within this
Yes.
budget. Yes, so now it becomes a family affair. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes something that they look forward to, and then the responsibility that is start is just amazing.
I like that. I like that. And I think also too, I'm going to kind of jump over like in your church, departments can have budgets too.
Yes,
Department can have a Christmas budget too because usually you reach out to individuals throughout in the community and so on at that time. So you too can have a budget. So it's not just restricted to your home, but you can also in your subgroups at church, you can also have a budget to and use the same method with your executive body, your spreadsheet or whatever to keep a track to ensure that you stay within that. I love this, Mr. Douglas. I really do love and appreciate this because I don't think many persons take the time to focus on the fact that it is important to have a budget for the Christmas because the truth is you spend, just spend. Oh, that is nice. Let me take up one of those. Oh, that will be good. And just take, and you are just spending. And then when you look back at how much you've spent for the Christmas period, your little ticky talker start to act funny because
mm-hmm.
you are feeling a little overwhelmed. And there is where we have the mental issues. But we don't want to talk about January yet. Let's leave that for now. But
Yeah.
in the right now, you might end up feeling overwhelmed and you might end up at the doctor.
and
So
and that, and that is more spending.
and, and that is more spending. So, and I think people need to understand too and be understanding in this time that there's inflation going on, there's a lot of things going on. We have to be conscious of the fact that persons are having a hard time. And if somebody say they are unable to do something, they are unable to do it. And you have to be able to say you're unable to do it, you know? But budgeting is key. More and more, I'm seeing that. More
At
and more.
at my church, we're having a love tour. We usually have our love tours, and we're having a love tour in December, just the same, where we're going to be sharing with others and stuff. Our love tour, that is something that is dear to one of our senior pastors, and specifically Pastor Marshall Wade. We're doing it at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital.
Mhm.
Um, I'm just saying, in your budgeting, regardless of how small it is, even if it is going to be a meal with somebody else,
Yeah,
just put something in there that you can share with somebody else. It will make you feel so good. You will feel so good having been able to be a blessing to somebody
somebody
else.
else.
And I'm telling you, be a blessing to somebody else and watch God bless you more.
Beautiful. Mr. Douglas, I do appreciate today. And I'm looking forward to this whole discourse about our finances throughout this period heading into Christmas. Because I think as Christians, sometimes we really don't take time to look at some things. We really don't take the time to look. We think about budgeting like for regular day to day, whatever, whatever. But sometimes some persons don't even think about the Christmas spending. And even when you said to put the credit card aside and then just use your debit card. So whatever is on that, where it marga, it pop. I mean, wherever
Correct.
the money ends, the spending ends. So you don't have to find yourself paying a lot more on your credit card. I love that, even that idea of using cash or just using your card. I love that. I absolutely love that idea. Mr. Douglas, thank you for today.
You're most welcome.
Thank you for today. And I'm looking forward, as I said before, to more discussions on this. Is there anything you want to leave with our listeners and our viewers?
Yes. As we go look towards the season, and as I said, it's my favorite time of the year. I want persons to have fun, to come together, to share in the season, but never lose sight of the reason for the season. It we what we what why we celebrate Christmas. Don't let us just commercialize it, but let us keep in sharp focus the reason for the season and be very celebrated about that. Be very celebratory about that. The reason for the season and the reason why we need to spread that joy and that cheer to everybody else.
And I think I need to say what this listener this viewer just shared. I think you want to hear this. The person said, one year I took someone out and never let the person she didn't focus on the budget, and the bill went way up. So she didn't let the person know what the budget was, and the bill went way up. So even with treating someone, you take them out, you say, my budget is $5,000 Jamaican. No, we can't exceed that. So please bear that in mind. I
Yeah,
don't want
man.
to feel, but it's good to say it.
Yes, man. You
Yeah.
need to set expectations.
Oh my.
You need to set expectations because I am more about the fact that hey, you are taking me out than
How much
what
is it going to cost
than
you?
how much it's gonna cost. So the fact that we're going out. Look here, I am minister. If I too patty I can me you go eat. We're gonna gourmet them two patty there, see, and we're gonna make it nice.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
But you have to be conscious. And again, the whole matter of mental state. Don't
Yes.
allow people to cause you to get to a place of mental stress. God bless you, sir. Have a wonderful rest of day. And we do appreciate you. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Peace to you and your listeners.
God bless you. Bye. Ah, my people, my people, my people, my people. When we're talking about budgeting, it is important. And let me throw some business in right here. As you budget, I talk about gift giving. You give gifts that are lasting. Give tangible gifts, gifts that can help persons to grow, to heal, and to be well. And I am promoting my books to you today. My books for children and my books for adult women. And I guess men can too, but it is about women. You can get yourself a copy, that book that is on display there. And I also have books for children. Listen, budget wisely, plan your spending. Don't just spend willy nilly. I beg of you, because we want at the end of the year, we end the year strong, in a position that we can give the Lord our best financially. Amen. Say amen. Amen. Thank you so very, very much for sticking and staying with me in the YouTube segment. If you need to get to us at HGG, remember you can send us a message at 825-343-4486. And if you need to reach out to me as it relates to getting a copy of my books, reach out to me at that same number and I will be more than happy to get into you, or you can jump on to my website at reneeinc.com. That's I'm going to put it in the chat, reneeinc.com, and you can connect with what I do there. It has been a wonderful, wonderful day just talking with you. We head on over back to studio and we will have a great time over there. Yes, continuing our old hits. And it is also request day. God bless you. Bye. Take care of yourself. I'm your life coach saying, see you next week, God's willing. Bye bye.